position, and I might even exaggerate it a little bit to make sure that he really can't do that. Now, it's okay for an athlete that's digging a ball in volleyball. It's not so great for if you need that overhead lever, right? I'm going around muscle belly, so I'm going to use Pro Wrap and fix it on with Tough Skin. If this athlete had to get this on a regular basis, I would absolutely shave. And you're going to have to use elastic tape because it's going around bicep and forearm flexors. Now, having said that, you guys only have this tape, so you'll have to practice with 1.5 inch, but imagine that you're using elastic tape. Okay, so I'm going to put base strips. Everybody's ducking. Flip. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of Pro Wrap, and again, I'm going to use the length of the bicep because that's how I get the best fix for it. Yes, I have. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to do my top base strips. And again, have all your supplies handy so you can cut as you need to. Yeah, we did class before. No. Sorry? $7-ish. Now, one thing I want to show you is what I normally do is I will, and it's okay for the under strips, but later I will show you that we start and stop on the back of the arm for these because if I am playing on my anterior surface, as I would in a ready position, everything comes on the anterior surface. I don't want any loose tape ends on the front. So one of the things, although it's easier to see when it's on the front, is to do these starts and stops at the back for this particular tape job. Depending on the size of the muscle mass, you know, if you covered me with 3 strips, you'd be down through my elbow and right through my shoulder. So, you know, for most throwers, you'll probably need 2 to 3 strips. And at the bottom, you need 2. And the idea is that you are putting some tension on it, but not so much tension because you don't want to cut off circulation. But there's enough stretch in here that you can certainly put a bit of tension on it. Now, the idea here is I'm going to probably exaggerate. So here's 180 degrees, right? There's about 120 degrees. And if you're really not sure and you think the athlete's going to move, you can even exaggerate it more. What I'm going to do in this position is I'm going to pre-measure them for what is called a fan. And it's basically going to go from base strip to base strip, and then I can construct my fan over here. So you can put your arm down for a minute. The fan has an uneven number. It's either going to be 3, 5, or 7 strips, and we're going to use them later on. I have a middle strip, like I did with my modified Gibney. And then I'm going to go slightly to one side and slightly to the other. These guys are lazy. And I'm making an X. It's like a middle, side, side. Usually 3 to 5 is sufficient. So what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I've gone this way. I'm going to go again. Now, if I do, this part you can film. If I make my fan like this, I'm leaving a shadow, point of weakness. If I leave it like this, there's a window, point of weakness. So I always have to overlap. Usually the X part here will fall where the injury is. So it's going to land sort of right mid-range. Okay, that's the extent of the excitement. You can give those back. There we go. Okay, so there's my X. Now, I'm going to peel it off the surface. You guys can see it makes a nice X. It should be nice and tight. I've smoothed it down with my hands. I'm going to now go make sure he's back at his 120 degrees. And usually, the other thing that you should note is you're going to have a bigger muscle mass on the bicep than in the forearms. So you can make the top slightly wider than the bottom. And it just means instead of having an even X that way, you're just going out this way a little bit less. So I attach it to the bicep and then to the forearm, and then I close it off with my base strips. Now the idea here is if I'm starting and stopping on the back or to the side, then I don't have these little flaps sticking out, and it's a lot nicer for the athlete. Make sure that that stays on there. You can even tack it down and then go and close it off again. And even in some cases, though, you might see some throwers be elastic taped all the way down. But I start and stop on the back. And then the other thing you can do is if you're going to leave it open like this, then you can put a little bit of a strip in the sticky part at his elbow. I'm going to do one more here. So 2 base strips, a fan, 3 to 5, usually 3 for ladies is plenty. And then all you do for this nice little part in here is you can stick it so that sticky side is up underneath here. Try not to crinkle it. And then you just close it like that. And then if he does flex and extend, it's not sticking right in that space and it's not so bad. And then what you might even do to make it look really pretty is you can even do partial strips here at the back just to hold down or tack down those ends. It's not necessary to do this, but it does give it a nice finish. You look good, you feel good, you play good, right?
If we draw that one, do you want us to put the closing strip on for us?
That's up to you.
It'll help cover mistakes. Yeah, I advise it.
Better when we're tested.
It has to be an appropriately made fan. So again, it depends on the size. Yeah. I just want to show you that I'm not going to put shadows in there either.
A little bit wrinkly there, Kelly.
No, well, I'm trying to go. It's the filming.
You can't put people under pressure.
Pressure. Well, yeah, I'm also making sure that you'll pull in all my shadows too. So there we go. Now I'm going to smooth it down so it looks really pretty.
Get a final touch picture.
Okay.